And we are live. I'll give everyone a few minutes to receive notification from Google. Hopefully that will come smoothly and efficiently. I then ask you to sign on to your account and introduce yourself into the chat box. Let's add a little bit of soundtrack here. Why not? Hopefully this will help you out a little bit. This is our final 2-minute drill here from beautiful New York City, from the heart of our meatpacking district, and maybe you can hear that, but we'll have a little bit of fun today. But again, this is our final 2-minute drill from our 0600 2-minute drill from the heart of the meatpacking district in New York. It has been an incredible period, but let's not lose track of what we've got ahead of us today, and we do have an exciting session here. So let me first of all introduce myself and go through this. Welcome, my name is John Davies, you already know that, and welcome to our 0600 2-minute drill, affectionately referred to as, I think that's, we'll hold off there, affectionately referred to as our cold and flu season report, as I have a little bit of cold, nothing to be shocked about, it's just a cold, for day 3, decision day of week 41 of the campaign, October. Pardon me. Oh, there we go. October the 6th, 2021. If you are new here, well, welcome. And this is quite an auspicious event that you're coming to, quite an interesting event. And, well, there you go. I think you like that. Thank you very much, Mitchell. And if you're new here, I hope you make this part of your regular daily journey. We're going to have a lot of different events, and I will be continuing our streaming events with uninterruption for the most part, coming into our 5th country since I began these in November 2019, and certainly our 5th since really the nonsense of Q21 kicked off. If you are one of our regulars, and first of all, for our regulars, I must say, Perior Mama, and if you're one of my regulars, my beautiful Anusha Karsis, my clientele, investors, family, friends, McNeek included, I, as always, appreciate your support. Remember here, we do not sugarcoat, we do not pander, nor do we engage in the nonsense of political correctness. We are polite and gentlemanlike professionals at all times, but the real virus that relates to many of our problems of today is the constant sugarcoating and pandering. I guess sugarcoating would say literally and figuratively as well, but as well as just we need to say what needs to be said. Say what you mean what you say, and don't be too afraid. We all need to toughen up. So toughen up, Buttercup generation. It's reality. But let me see who we've got here. First of all, Christopher D, thank you very much for joining me. As always, I appreciate it. Carrie, thank you very much. I hope all is well in beautiful Amarillo. Mitchell, thank you very much for extremely kind words. 0600, as I'm packed and ready to go, and you just broadsided me with such a beautiful and heartwarming invitation. It really means a great deal to myself, my family, that beautiful bride of mine. Thank you very much. Koyun, great to see you. Haven't heard from you a little bit. I hope all is well. Oh, why? I'm glad you like, Mitchell, I'm glad you like the goatee. It's something I've had through the years and just felt like growing it back as the autumn chill comes, and a little bit something fun. Dominic, great to see you. Hope all is well in beautiful Germany. It's going to be an interesting travel today, Koyun. I'm taking a very calm, relaxed drive due to some very short hours of operations that I need to for a business situation when I go through the border. The operations are short, so and this is a 7-hour drive, so I'm taking it nice and easy, and we'll see where I stream these from later today, if possible. I don't know, and certainly tomorrow. It's going to be interesting, but we'll get it done either way. Selwyn, thank you very much. Hopefully all is well in beautiful Wales. I keep hearing different things about Wales, but I do hope things are comfortable opening up or whatever it might be, but I appreciate any insights. My beautiful bride. Thank you very much, Nari. Thank you very much for joining us, as always. Alex, thank you very much for joining us. Hope all is well. It'll sure be an interesting drive. It'll be fine. Hopefully I can find a nice little steak dinner along the way somewhere. I'm sure I will. And if it's anything like here, all the restaurants will be more than happy to see someone come in. Okay, so this is an interesting event because it is our final, and I hope everyone has enjoyed streaming from here. This is the beautiful meatpacking district. It certainly has went through the changes through the years. We started doing our, these as broadcasts. These were broadcasts in November 2019, radically different thing. Seemed to be sometimes my audition for as an auctioneer, hence why we used to call it a 2-minute drill. It was only 2 minutes. But I started these from the steps of the Fed, November 2019, and obviously they've changed a great deal. I think we've been able to not only supply the intel that investors need, but also go beyond that and create a wonderful community. And I'm very proud of this hunting party in so many different ways. I'm proud of how you support each other, as I've been urging you, support each other in areas well beyond the investing world and areas that's important. Remember, it really is to stand up for your rights and freedoms now, and it's great to see everyone support each other and also support yourselves in the complex era of investing, because it is a complex era of investing. And I do not want to have any problems. David, it's unfortunate, but we'll return, and we'll return in a far better time. And it's not a goodbye. It's just until a little bit later. I do not believe in giving up on certain goals and dreams. But as I said yesterday at our very special discussion, it wasn't really a meeting. It was a one-off discussion online. The reasons why that I really have to leave at this time, in essence, with my back corner to the, my back in a corner, to making sure that I can satisfy that priority of myself, making sure that my family is together by the end of this year. Daryl, thank you very much for joining. But we'll be back. It's just a matter of time. And I also hope that in time you're going to see us as a family in that great state of Texas. So we'll see. But again, thank you very much, everyone. But it has been a tremendous event and situation, and I hope, good morning, Timo. I hope everyone has enjoyed these looks at New York, give you an interesting idea of things going on in the street that you may not necessarily see. A candid look at the implications of very poor political approaches to dealing with a matter that should have been dealt with much differently. You can see it on the street. I think you saw that every afternoon at our 1400-hour session, whether or not I was on the day before last at Madison and 59th, or in times when I was on at 6th and 42nd. Should have been rather shocking at some times, right? Let's see. Wales is. I had no idea. Wales. I'm very sorry to hear. Very difficult. I'm journeying up to Canada, Selwyn, and I understand that they still have the mask mandates indoors. That's why I cannot commit right now to any meetings indoors. For those in Toronto, we'll more than likely be looking for a patio, but even there, I just don't know what the rules are and how is. So we'll wait and see. And it's nothing like having a day outside, meetings outside for a full day in Canada in October and November. That should just be wonderful for someone who has rheumatoid arthritis and Raynaud's syndrome. So we'll figure that out here. Okay, let's get into this right now. I want to have you full prepared for the market session today. And again, this is decision day. And the decision that I want everyone to just remember is this market is extremely bloated. We've been talking about a slow grinding correction. That's always what I look at it. And that's something more correctly. But let me go through this again. When this whole nonsense started, remember, a virus where morbidity, an airborne virus that I discussed in the first week of January, was nothing to be terribly worried about. It can be addressed appropriately with what we have right now. It's an airborne virus where morbidity relates to your immune system, directly your metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance, of which obesity is a symptom. And we certainly will, Christopher. This was relatively, when this all started, the S&P was at approximately 3278. We'll call it 3,300. And I said it was a late stage economy and prone to approximately a 15% correction. So let's just we'd have the market correct approximately 2600 to 2800. That's really where the market is generally worth it to, you can consider worth it from an earnings standpoint. That's about it, 26 to 2800. This market has been bloated up beyond belief, and bloated up in some ways that, frankly, I'm a little bit surprised more people aren't angry about what has happened. Congress is running running their own insider front-running trades, and what has happened on the Fed is absolutely shocking. There we go. That's exactly it, Timo. So it's absolutely shocking. This market is prone. I suggested that one must be very aware of that. It certainly could see an enormous reversal. I don't want to call it a correction, but an enormous reversal. But it also goes much further, much deeper than 2,600. And for this year, I certainly have no problem saying that don't be surprised if you get a prolonged, constant pullback into the 39 to 3,600 in the S&P. But there will be some fights along the way because no government wants to be at the hand of the destruction of 401k plans. And that's absolutely part of the equation here right now. And you have to look for this battle, the back and forth on it. And, I do ask everyone, when the time comes and we do see a massive pullback, I hope the public is spurred to look at its leaders of the Fed who were front running and the front running these trades, running nothing more than a hedge fund or a trading desk. To be quite honest, that's what they were doing with extreme conflicts of interest in insider trading. Same thing with looking at members of Congress and serve. It's appalling that people should be angry. So as this gets going, remember as your 401k plans, who front-runned your trade. Let me go through these comments. David, Christopher, absolutely. I don't know how this will go. My Nari can tell you if we can try to, if it's possible. I will probably be having closing out the final hour of options expiration Friday on the deck cafe of Rivoli on Queen West. We'll see. I have no idea. So what any of these places look like now, it's been a number of years, and I don't know what the response has been with the pandemic with the cafe, but I'm going to be looking for those kind of places where I can have a good, strong signal to handle this and sit down for a nice cup of coffee with friends. So we'll see how this. Timo, it's absolutely appalling what we've done, but this was never about health, was it? It's really offensive, really. And Mitchell, let me say, it's interesting how well you seem to have recovered from your cough and sniffles. Good nutrition is partly impressive results, and diet. And for that, I give all credit to low carbon fasting, my Nari. Mitchell, you're correct. The product should be to strengthen their immunity and live the life within no fear. Absolutely. And there is no better example on that as Nairi on that. Okay. Good morning, Keith. Hope all is well. Very easy, simply, and Mitchell as well. And all the different supplements that I take, as well as following my diet. I hadn't posted yesterday, and I posted a photo of that big honking amount of meat that I threw onto into the skillet to take care of things here. So we'll get this. So let me go back into the market. So don't ever lose sight that this market is prone to an enormous correction. And we'll go quickly into the S&P right now. But as you recall, yesterday the market bloated up. The Dow climbed 311 points to 34,314. The NASDAQ rose 178.34 to close at 14,433, and S&P was up 45 points to 43.45. But the key thing was the climb above 43.10. You lose 43.10, 42.70 comes into play. This is very basic, standard technical lines. Remember, there's no great mystery on technical. Sri Rajan, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was just a cold, by the way. And I do also want to mention, it's foolish of me. And Nairi will have a good laugh at it. I'm a 60-year-old man that who still thinks like he's has the brain sometimes of a 16-year-old, and that's not to insult any 16-year-old. But I'm standing in the rain beside of a plant that I shouldn't realize that I'm allergic to or have some sort of allergic reaction to, a modest reaction, and it sets off. And this is after my morning exercise, and it sets off sort of an EIB, an exercise-induced asthma situation. So here I am trying to talk for 30 minutes in a modestly chilly morning that it's raining beside a plant that I'm allergic to with a cough. You just couldn't put up a more silly situation. I should have known better. My fault. Do I think to keep raising? I think that we are going at that point right now, Keith, where we're going to see the end of the spike of the greenback, and then that solid, that very uncomfortable pullback on the greenback. Yes, so it's fine. Timo thing is that the indices that we don't know this. Yes, that's absolutely Timo. Okay, so now let's look at pre-market, and this is where it is. We've lost that line. That's important. We have an implied opening of the Dow off, implied opening off 350 points. The implied opening of S&P off 55 points. Watch 4270. 4270, we give way quite a bit. We watch 4270. You're going to be watching a trickle down, and I look at a waterfall from 4270 to 4225, and actually then we really get going. I've been saying this for quite some time with my good friend Jake. Don't put 3,900 to 3,600 out of the in a relatively quick manner out of the equation. This market, you can never get fat, never lose track, is extremely bloated. NASDAQ implied opening off 217 points. Nothing pretty about this market. You'll have a lot of people who want to make up good reasons and good excuses of why it might be valued, or why the party's not going to end on this. There's nothing fundamental valued about this market right now. The only fundamental values in this market relate to, obviously, in the commodity sector, where everybody should be rushing into these positions, getting into these positions, with none better than the precious metal miners. Okay, so please watch 4270 on this, and this can waterfall in a hurry. Thank you very much. There you go. Wonderful for all of you. And remember, support each one of you in all of your efforts, including your business efforts. It's time for good people to support each other really online. We've got enough of this nonsense, of some of this real absolute idiocy online, of people who shouldn't have such a voice really clear. And that's part of the reason why this whole situation got out of control. Good people, we didn't speak up. Okay, so remember, please watch 4270. If this gives way, we can see in a hurry 4225, and then deep into the 4100s. But this is a waterfall moment. This market has 3,900 and 3,600 clearly in an early, in its sights, and it certainly could see that in a hurry. As I said, just to impress upon you, I believe this market is not worth anything more than 26 to 2,800 on the S&P, and I do believe NASDAQ has $8,000 in it. $8,000, my God, 8,000. Watching something else come across, 8,000 in its sight, with a 80% total drop from the highs of last year, or highs of this year, and coming in 2022, a total 80% drop is not off the table. Okay, so in the energy pits, I'm sure everyone's taken a look at the numbers coming out of the UK on natural gas. It's an absolute mess, and I hope that the UK controls the supply shocks on this, but there is a massive issue there. Natural gas is up. Here we've got natural gas up 0.066 to 6.37.8. Remember when I told you natural gas was a generational buying opportunity at $2, under $2? Now all of a sudden people take good notice on this. As I said to you, this new administration would be an enemy to the domestic energy sector, and would it create an actual energy crisis? So it is happening, and this energy crisis will certainly spur the next very major recession that I believe will escalate into a full-scale depression. Let me just go and make sure I've got your questions answered. Thank you very much, Frank. Great to see you here. Within WTI, off modestly, 33 cents to 78.60. Ring the bell. We hit our target again in April 2020, in that crazy day when it hit -30, when WTI at -$37, and I said it was a generational buying opportunity, and it's a buy with both fists day. I said to you, by the end of that year, go to $60 to $65, $75 to $85 for this year. We hit the bell on that, and $100 by 2023 to 2025. But come the July with regards to the November election. I said that pace would accelerate much further, much quicker, and certainly it has. And recently I've told you I believe we're going to get near the $100 the century mark within the first half of the maybe even the new year, but certainly in a relatively quick manner. So we'll be looking at some very good opportunities within the oil and gas sector. If you're investing in oil and gas, I urge you stick within the domestic sector, and do remember also look at those great pipeline companies, KMI, HAL, and WMB of Tulsa, Oklahoma as well. Pipelines built. So please give thought. And I know Mitchell will also bring up EPD for us. And I think that one part of me is I just watch one of our little rodent friends make a run across the street and stop, give me a look. Within our metals pits, copper is giving back the ground, just as I was suggesting what would happen. Again, we'll see what copper is doing here. We're approaching that very important 410 line here. Obviously, there's a lot of discussion on the infrastructure, so-called infrastructure bill. I call that infrastructure, or I refer to it as a so-called infrastructure bill. It seems to me like a lot of pork. And that's what I'm concerned with, whether or not it really targets important infrastructure or not. We haven't invested appropriately in infrastructure for 40 years, and we seem to stuff a lot of pork in these bills. But copper is giving up some important ground here off 7 cents, 0.72 to 412.11. Oh, let me go back and say one thing, because I just mentioned to you the profitability on oil and gas sector and investing in those great companies, including. Please never do something without the use of the option layers that we talk about. Remember, nothing is a buy at will. Nothing, unless someone is suggesting they're going to give you a unsecured line of credit that they are funding for 7 or 8 figures. Nothing is a buy at will. Always use your options to mitigate risk. Please, always. We always use options. I always urge people to use options. Use your buy rights. Systematically write your call options. Nothing is a simple buy at will. So please, I should have said that. It is too little too late. It's a lot of pork and a lot of, after we've just spent what is greater than the Marshall Plan on this situation, it goes to my belief that this administration, it seems like a crazy number to throw out there on your bingo card, but I believe by the end of its first term, we could see it upwards, the deficit upwards of $50 trillion. Obscene, but I don't put it out of the equation. So that's where you have right now copper giving back. Remember, you're going to watch that 410 line. We've seen support recently in the mid 405 range on copper, but we have a potential waterfall movement down to 375 if copper loses 410 with a close too on that part of me. Silver is giving up considerable today at 1.5% today, down 35 cents, 0.348 to 22.26. With gold once again showing whether or not it has its support at 17. It's just under 17.50, off $12.12 to 17.48.70. Remember, these are technical trade. This is technical trading, and part of the west to east transfer. That's exactly it, Timo. You're completely correct. And part of the west to east transfer. It's an uncomfortable part here to note, but we're living in very historic times. So as the west sells, the east is more than happy to buy. These are the difference between technical trading and the selling on COMEX and paper contracts, as opposed to the physical market. So where there's a considerable different, there is a premium on that. So don't lose track of that. And I do see a lot of support on that. As far as gold, from a technical standpoint, 1750 is an important line, but you certainly could see a drop down, and this is nothing really surprising. We've been talking about this for quite some time. 1685 to 1650. Long term, I'm very bullish on gold, but this doesn't change my narrative, nor does it change my belief that you buy gold, you do not sell. You buy, you do not sell. You hold it forever. It's why you stack those gold bars to build a family financial legacy. So hopefully that gets everyone rolling for today. And what is our final discussion, our final meeting from New York City? We've got a good session ahead of us and a good part of the week. I ask everyone still remain tactically tight. Remember, order, structure, and discipline. Always follow order, structure, discipline. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get too caught up in the euphoria. Remember, when the herd is celebrating, get towards those exit doors before they start popping those champagne corks or start debating between the wine list. Move quickly. Always understand the move before the move and be the tacticians. Pardon me. We are the tacticians of the market. We're the bank. We understand how to use options to mitigate risk, increase our revenue stream, and hopefully provide you that peace of mind portfolio management. Hopefully that will be the case. I then ask always at some time, give thought once you have that peace of mind to invest in the future and invest in America. Okay, so that's about it. We're at the just over the 25-minute mark. I want to thank everyone for joining me. It has been it's been an extraordinary event for me, and I really do appreciate it. Let me just give you this. This is my city, so it is something for me, and it's a pleasure. We're not going to get hit by any bicycles right now. Well, probably not, but why not? And our fine little rodent friends are not causing us any problems. But this is the meatpacking district. Early in the morning, and most of the time I'm yelling above sanitation trucks and everyone else, and getting this extraordinary city, a remarkable city of remarkable people getting going. And it's been a pleasure, a blessing, and I'm humbled to have provided this for you and speak to you from here for the last little while. We'll find a new place very shortly, and we'll get this all going. All over again. I'm going to be on the road today, but I certainly will do what I can to have stream something at 1400 hours. I just don't know. So I'll let you know what the stream is like. I'll send a message, a flare. We'll get a homing pigeon or something like that. So that's it from New York. And you watched yesterday. You understand how personal this is. I want to thank everyone. Thank you very much. It's been a blessing. It really has been. So for my final one from New York, thank you very much for joining me. Be good to each other. Be good to each other. Support each other in your efforts. And as I conclude, just a reminder, 2021, be the hunter, not the hunted. Thank you very much, everyone.